Hello, dear friends. I'm Aldir Santos, and welcome to our channel, Baseball Legends. Carl Everett is one of the most fascinating and controversial names in recent Major League Baseball history, known both for his devastating power at the plate and his explosive personality. Everett was a player capable of changing any game with a single swing, but he also sparked controversies off the field that drew as much attention as his athletic achievements. His career blends raw talent, competitive intensity, and unusual episodes that still provoke debates among fans, journalists, and baseball experts. Those who look only at the numbers may not fully grasp the impact of a player who played with as much passion as he did challenge. From his debut as a promising young talent to his rise with teams like the Boston Red Sox and Chicago White Sox, Everett always had the ability to leave his mark. He wasn't just a home run hitter or a versatile defender. His presence in the clubhouse, fearless attitude, and aggressive style on the field made him a polarizing figure, someone capable of dividing opinions while captivating fans. Each season, Carl demonstrated that talent and an intense personality could go hand in hand, creating stories that go far beyond the statistics and numbers accumulated over his career. Watch this video until the end and tell us in the comments. Which moment of Carl Everett's career impressed you the most? His power at the plate, versatility in the field, or the controversies that marked his journey? What makes Carl Everett's story even more intriguing is this rare combination of sporting brilliance and constant controversy. He was capable of extraordinary performances, like his 34 home runs in 2000 with the Red Sox, but also of unexpected statements and actions that put him in the spotlight in a unique way. Following his career is not just about understanding a baseball player's trajectory. It's about understanding a competitor who played by his own rules, challenged conventions, and left a legacy that sparks curiosity and debate to this day. Who was Carl Everett, really? Just an explosive talent or a personality impossible to ignore? That's the story we're going to explore. Carl Everett began his professional baseball journey carrying great expectations. Born in Tampa, Florida, and growing up in a community where sports served as an outlet for many young people, Everett quickly stood out as a complete athlete in high school, especially in baseball and track. His natural talent drew attention not only for his stats, but also for his rare combination of brute strength and explosive speed. These qualities made him a first-round pick in the 1990 MLB draft, selected by the New York Yankees, one of the league's most prestigious franchises. Being chosen so early in the draft by such a traditional team reflected the scouts' confidence in his potential. During his first seasons in the Yankees minor league system, Everett continued to impress. With his offensive performance and his ability to cover the outfield efficiently, he displayed a powerful swing, capable of hitting home runs even against more experienced pitchers, along with athletic defense that made him a valuable asset for any future MLB roster. Even as a young player, he showed intense competitive drive and wasn't intimidated by the spotlight, traits that would, over time, become both his strengths and sources of controversy. His development in the minor leagues was steady, and his rapid rise put him on the radar of multiple franchises, even before his official major league debut. Interestingly, despite being drafted by the Yankees, Carl Everett never played for New York's major league team. In a strategic move, he was selected by the Florida Marlins in the 1992 expansion draft, which changed the course of his career. This transition opened the door for him to finally make his MLB debut in 1993, beginning his journey as a full-time player. While the organizational move may have frustrated the Yankees' initial plans, For Everett, it was an opportunity to showcase his value in an environment with less competition for playing time and more chances to prove his talent at the highest level. Even in the early years of his professional career, Everett already displayed characteristics that would define him throughout his trajectory: intensity, confidence, and a vibrant style of play. The foundation built during his minor league seasons was crucial for establishing himself in the majors later on. His promising start, both in terms of recognition and performance, marks an important chapter in his career, signaling the emergence of a player who, despite future controversies, always demonstrated genuine passion for the game and undeniable talent from his very first steps in professional baseball. Carl Everett's Major League Baseball debut came in 1993 when he donned the uniform of the newly created Florida Marlins, one of the two teams added to the league that year as part of an expansion. Although he had originally been drafted by the New York Yankees in 1990, Everett never played for the New York team. He was selected by the Marlins in the 1992 expansion draft, a move that offered a new opportunity for young talents like him, who might have been blocked in more competitive systems. The move to the new franchise became a turning point in his career, giving him the chance to finally reach the highest level of professional baseball. In his first appearances with the Marlins, Everett displayed the tools that had impressed scouts. Years earlier, a quick, aggressive swing, speed on the bases, and a natural ability to cover ground in the outfield. Although his playing time was limited at first, flashes of his talent were evident. He was a player who contributed not only statistically, but also brought intense energy every time he stepped on the field. His presence was noticed even when he was not yet a well-known name among fans. On a young, developing team, Everett stood out as one of the most intriguing prospects for the franchise's future. The 1993 season was a laboratory for the Marlins, and Everett spent part of the year moving between the minor leagues and the major league roster. Even without impressive numbers in his debut, the experience that year was invaluable. He faced veteran pitchers and had to adjust to the speed and rigor of major league play, a transition many young players struggle with. For Everett, this stage was crucial in shaping his competitive mindset, strengthening his desire to establish himself as a full-time player in the coming years. Despite the natural ups and downs of a rookie, the franchise saw in him potential worth patiently developing. Beyond his athletic abilities, Carl Everett also displayed a strong personality and a fearless approach to the game. Even as a rookie, he didn't hesitate to assert himself against opponents or express his opinions, traits that over time would become hallmarks of his career. This attitude set him apart from other young players, who often adopt a more reserved demeanor early on. Everett, on the other hand, seemed to know he had something to prove and wasn't willing to wait to make his mark. His confidence, combined with natural talent, helped him earn the respect of teammates and coaches, even when results were not yet consistent. Within the Marlins organization, Carl Everett was an important piece in the team's effort to build its identity. He was part of a young and uncertain group, but carried the potential to become a central figure in the roster's restructuring. Although his time with the Marlins was not long, it served as a launching pad for the most productive phases of his career, which would come with teams like the Houston Astros and Boston Red Sox. What Everett showed in Miami was a preview of what was to come, a player capable of influencing games both with the bat and through his competitive energy. Everett's debut with the Marlins also serves as an example of how unexpected opportunities can change the course of a career. Had he stayed in the Yankees system, he might have faced more intense competition and taken longer to reach the majors. Being selected by a developing team gave him a more favorable environment for growth and visibility. It was there, on a team still searching for its identity, that Carl Everett took his first steps toward a career marked by moments of brilliance, controversies, and solid contributions to several Major League Baseball franchises. Carl Everett's time with the Houston Astros from 1995 to 1997 was crucial for his establishment as a Major League player. After initial experiences with the Marlins and Mets, it was in Houston that he found the ideal combination of opportunity, maturity, and organizational confidence to flourish as a starter. The Astros, at that time, were building a competitive team, with players like Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio leading the offense. In this context, Everett managed to stand out and secure a spot in the starting lineup, especially because of his versatility in the outfield and his growing offensive power. He was the type of player who could contribute both with long hits and with smart, quick plays on defense. Over those 3 seasons with the Astros, Everett gained consistency at the plate. In 1997, his final season with the team, he delivered his best performance to date, recording 18 home runs, 76 RBIs, and a .317 batting average, numbers that reflected not only his raw power, but also his development as a disciplined hitter. He began to better understand the strike zone, reduce swings and misses, and become a constant threat to opposing pitchers. This technical growth was essential to attracting the attention of other teams and consolidating his reputation as an impactful player. His offensive production helped the Astros remain competitive in a tough division, and he became increasingly respected in the clubhouse and among fans. Defensively, Everett also demonstrated significant value, playing all outfield positions. He used his speed and instincts to cover ground effectively. Although not considered an elite defender, his presence was reliable and energetic, capable of making difficult plays and preventing extra base hits. This combination of athletic skill and aggressive attitude made him important both on defense and offense. He was also useful on the base paths, using his speed to advance in strategic situations and apply pressure on opposing defenses. This set of qualities contributed to his value as a complete player, something especially appreciated by teams with playoff ambitions. It was also during his time with the Astros that Carl Everett's more controversial side began to attract attention. His intense personality, strong opinions, and defiant demeanor toward both opponents and journalists started to emerge more clearly. However, in Houston, these traits were still relatively controlled, and the main focus remained on his on-field performance. The team knew how to leverage his strengths and provided an environment where he could grow as an athlete. This period was crucial in preparing him for the years ahead, especially his breakout with the Boston Red Sox, where he would reach the statistical peak of his career. In retrospect, his time with the Astros can be seen as the bridge between a promising developing athlete and an established player ready for major responsibilities. Carl Everett's arrival with the Boston Red Sox in 1999 marked the beginning of one of the most intense and productive phases of his major league career. After showing offensive consistency in Houston, Everett was acquired by the Red Sox in a trade with the Astros and quickly became a central piece in the team's offensive machinery. With his signature combination of power, speed, and competitive energy, he won over Boston's demanding fans and assumed a leading role in a roster aiming to advance further in the postseason. Expectations were high, and Carl delivered, taking responsibility both at the plate and in the field with visible aggression and determination. It was in the 2000 season that Carl Everett reached the peak of his career, both statistically and symbolically. He hit 34 home runs, drove in 108 runs, and finished the year with a .587 slugging percentage, placing him among the league's most dangerous hitters at the time. His performance earned him a spot in the All-Star game, crowning a spectacular year that solidified him as one of the top names in the American League. Everett was particularly lethal in high-pressure situations, frequently producing decisive moments for the Red Sox, and drawing cheers from the Fenway Park crowd with his power at the plate. The intensity with which he played reflected not only his personal style, but also the city's passionate baseball culture. Despite his offensive success, Everett's tenure in Boston was also marked by controversies and tense moments. His strong temperament led to conflicts with the local press, umpires, and even members of the coaching staff, including manager Jimmy Williams. These tensions, though taxing behind the scenes, did not seem to directly affect his on-field performance. He continued to produce at a high level, remaining a feared offensive presence for any pitcher. Still, these conflicts became part of the narrative surrounding his name, making him a figure as controversial as he was charismatic. For many fans, Everett symbolized passion and intensity. For others, he was a talent difficult to manage. In terms of legacy, Carl Everett's years with the Red Sox are remembered as the most impactful of his career. In his own way, he embodied Boston's combative spirit, playing with heart and the confidence of someone who knew what he was capable of achieving. His time with the club, although relatively brief, left a deep mark both statistically and in collective memory. Even after his departure, his presence was remembered as part of an era of transition and intensity at the team, preceding the championships of the following years. For fans who followed that period, Carl Everett was more than numbers. He was a player who lived baseball with an intensity that was hard to ignore. Carl Everett's style of play was a direct extension of his intense and confrontational personality. On the field, he played with almost visceral aggression, running the bases with fury, challenging pitchers with steely stares, and rarely showing fear in high-pressure situations. His demeanor reflected someone who fully believed in his physical and mental superiority over opponents, making him an imposing presence both at the plate and in the outfield. This combative style, while effective at times, also put him in frequent conflict with umpires, coaches, and even teammates. Everett didn't hide his frustration when things didn't go his way, contributing to his reputation as a difficult player, even though his talent was undeniable. Off the field, Carl Everett was even more controversial. His public statements often shocked people, both in form and content. One of the most famous and controversial was his refusal to believe that dinosaurs truly existed, which received wide media coverage and public ridicule. Additionally, his opinions on social issues and confrontational stance with journalists often created tension, damaging his image even when he was performing at a high level. Throughout his career, he accumulated several fines for unsportsmanlike conduct and confrontations with umpires, including heated arguments and provocative gestures. For many, Everett represented a talented player who insisted on following his own code of conduct, even if it risked his relationships with teams or fans. This combination of athletic brilliance and fiery behavior made Carl Everett a deeply polarizing figure in Major League Baseball. While some fans admired him for his authenticity, intensity, and courage to speak his mind, others saw him as an example of unprofessionalism and lack of self-control. His aggressive style of play reflected his life philosophy: face everything head-on, without filters and without fear of confrontation. Although this trait limited his opportunities at times, it also ensured he was never overlooked. Everett may not have built a career defined by stability, but he certainly built a singular identity, someone who played with raw emotion and challenged any attempt to conform to conventional standards in the sport. Throughout his MLB career, Carl Everett stood out not only for his offensive power, but also for his defensive versatility in the outfield. He played competently in all three outfield positions: left field, center field, and right field, demonstrating adaptability to different situations and team needs. His natural speed, combined with good reflexes and reading of the ball, allowed him to cover large areas of the field efficiently, especially in center field, a position demanding athleticism and quick decision-making. Even if he was not considered an elite defender or a recipient of major defensive awards, his willingness to take on any outfield role reinforced his value as a complete player. This defensive flexibility was particularly important in moments when teams dealt with injuries, roster changes, or tactical adjustments. Everett was often called upon to fill defensive gaps without compromising overall performance, ensuring consistent playing time even amid competition. His ability to play anywhere in the outfield came with a strong, accurate arm, capable of preventing extra bases and making key assists. Furthermore, his aggressive mindset translated to defense as well. He attacked the ball with determination, dove when necessary, and did not hesitate to take risks to prevent extra base hits. This made him a defender who, while not spectacular, was reliable and committed. That Everett's defensive contributions, combined with his offensive impact, made him a valuable tactical asset for managers. It was not uncommon to see him moved around during games, depending on strategy against opposing hitters or specific defensive adjustments. His ability to transition naturally between positions gave managers greater flexibility in constructing the lineup and increased his utility on the roster. Even in periods when his bat wasn't at its peak, his presence in the outfield remained relevant. In short, his defensive versatility, though often overshadowed by offensive stats and strong personality, was an essential component of his longevity in the league and the impact he had across different franchises. Throughout his MLB career, Carl Everett played for several franchises, where his offensive presence almost always made an immediate impact. After his peak with the Boston Red Sox, Everett moved to the Texas Rangers in 2003, maintaining solid production with 28 home runs and over 90 RBIs, reaffirming his value as a power hitter. He then joined the Chicago White Sox, playing an important role on the 2005 World Series winning team. While he wasn't the team's star, his experience and ability to drive in runs in crucial moments contributed to the team's offensive balance. Even with frequent uniform changes, Everett was able to adapt quickly and respond with productivity, staying relevant in a competitive environment. His journey also included a brief stint with the Seattle Mariners in 2006, where he served as a designated hitter and outfielder. Although his numbers showed signs of natural physical decline, Everett still delivered moments of brilliance at the plate, producing key hits and maintaining an intimidating presence in the middle of the batting order. He never stopped playing with intensity, even in the later stages of his career. Before his time in the American League, Everett had also played with the Montreal Expos early in his career in 1998. It was there that he began to consistently display the offensive power that would later make him one of the most feared hitters of his generation. With solid batting averages and numbers that drew attention, this movement between franchises reflected both teams' desire to harness his offensive power and the challenges of dealing with his strong personality. Although he was a reliable performer at the plate, his off-field behavior and occasional internal conflicts often shortened his tenure with certain clubs. Still, his legacy as an athlete who made an impact wherever he went remains clear. Carl Everett was never a player to pass unnoticed. He left his mark, whether with a decisive home run, a heated argument, or a dominant offensive stretch. His record reflects the journey of an intense competitor who, even while facing controversies and frequent team changes, managed to build a solid career with impressive numbers and unforgettable moments across multiple U.S. cities. Carl Everett's participation in the historic 2005 Chicago White Sox campaign, which culminated in a World Series championship, represented one of the most significant and memorable moments of his career. Although he was not the team's main star, Everett played a crucial role as an experienced hitter and reliable offensive presence in the lineup. Primarily serving as a designated hitter, he was a key piece in the lineup's depth, posing a constant threat to opposing pitchers. His ability to drive in runs and maintain a competitive edge in crucial moments was a valuable asset for manager Ozzie Guillen, who appreciated players with a scrappy mentality and on-field intensity, traits that perfectly aligned with Everett's style. During the 2005 postseason, Everett actively contributed in the American League Series and the World Series itself, delivering timely hits and helping sustain offensive pressure on opponents. His game knowledge and experience, accumulated over more than a decade in the MLB, made him a respected figure in the clubhouse, especially among younger players. Even if his playoff numbers weren't spectacular, his presence represented stability and a potential threat every time he came to the plate. On a team that relied on collective contributions rather than just isolated stars, Carl Everett efficiently fulfilled his assigned role, staying prepared and competitive in every game of the title run. The championship with the White Sox was particularly symbolic, both for the franchise and for Everett. For Chicago, it ended an 88-year World Series drought, and for Everett, it was the realization of any professional player's dream, being part of a championship team. He was one of many veterans on the squad who, even past their physical peak, relied on mental strength and determination to win. His name became part of the franchise's history, and this achievement helped soften some of the controversial image he carried. Amid so many turbulent stops across different clubs, 2005 was the year Carl Everett proved that, beyond talent, he could also be a champion, making a legitimate contribution to one of the most dominant campaigns of the modern MLB era. Carl Everett built a career defined by solid, consistent statistics that reflect his offensive impact over more than a decade in Major League Baseball. With over 200 home runs and nearly 800 RBIs, he established himself as a reliable hitter capable of turning opportunities into decisive runs. These numbers not only demonstrate his power at the plate, but also the consistency of his performance, even while moving across different teams and divisions. Everett was the kind of player who could be called upon in any high-pressure situation, delivering steady offensive production and remaining relevant in competitive lineups. Beyond home runs and RBIs, Everett posted a respectable OPS throughout his career, reflecting his ability to combine power with plate discipline. He could balance long hits with consistent contact, producing runs and creating opportunities for teammates. His overall batting average remained solid, and he generated impact both in bases-loaded situations and in high-pressure moments. This offensive consistency, combined with his defensive versatility, solidified Everett as a complete player, one who didn't rely solely on momentary explosions but delivered sustained production over seasons. Carl Everett's statistical legacy also highlights his longevity and adaptability in the MLB. Playing for multiple teams and facing changing contexts, he maintained a level of performance that rarely dipped worryingly. Beyond isolated numbers, his statistics represent a player who combined natural talent with dedication and baseball IQ, able to contribute meaningfully to any roster. Therefore, even though his career was marked by controversies and frequent moves between franchises, his respected statistics stand as concrete proof of his relevance and the impact he had on baseball during the 1990s and 2000s. The legacy of Carl Everett is a complex combination of undeniable talent and recurring controversies, which defined his journey in Major League Baseball. During the late 1990s and early 2000s, Everett stood out as one of the league's most powerful hitters, capable of changing the course of a game with a single swing. His batting power and run-producing ability made him a feared presence for opposing pitchers, while his outfield play added significant defensive value to the teams he joined. However, his career was also marked by tensions with managers, umpires, and the press, creating a polarizing image among fans and peers. Despite the controversies, Everett consistently maintained a level of performance that justified his place on elite rosters. He was able to overcome obstacles and adapt to different franchises, providing steady offensive contributions and performing in decisive moments, such as during his stints with the Boston Red Sox and Chicago White Sox. His intense personality and aggressive playing style, though often criticized, also served to motivate and energize teammates, creating a unique dynamic in the clubhouse. For many fans, these traits were part of Everett's charm and authenticity. A player who competed with genuine passion and never hid his competitiveness, both on and off the field. Carl Everett's legacy, therefore, goes beyond numbers and statistics. He is remembered as an impactful player whose career delivered memorable moments and significant contributions to multiple MLB teams. At the same time, his controversies and contentious behavior added a layer of complexity to his image, making him a figure who inspired both admiration and debate in equal measure. Everett embodies the duality of many talented athletes, a professional capable of sporting greatness, yet one who also challenged norms and social expectations. This combination of talent and controversy is what keeps his memory alive among fans, sports historians, and baseball analysts to this day. Carl Everett's journey in Major League Baseball offers much more than numbers and stats. It reveals the complexity of an athlete who combined extraordinary talent with an intense and controversial personality. Over more than a decade, Everett showed the baseball world that greatness is measured not only by titles or home runs, but also by presence, intensity, and the ability to make an immediate impact on any team. His career was marked by highs and lows, memorable achievements, and controversial episodes, making it a fascinating narrative about the delicate balance between athletic skill and personal temperament. One of Everett's most notable traits was his ability to remain relevant across different contexts and franchises. Whether with the Boston Red Sox, reaching his statistical peak, or contributing to the historic 2005 Chicago White Sox championship, he demonstrated that talent combined with experience can deliver consistent results. Even when facing physical challenges, team changes, or media criticism, Everett maintained a high competitive level, proving that dedication and a scrappy mindset are as important as technical skill. This adaptability serves as an example for any athlete or professional seeking to excel in high-pressure environments. Everett's intensity on the field, though admired by many, also generated controversies that shaped his public image. His explosive temperament, controversial statements, and frequent clashes with umpires or teammates revealed a complex human side, someone who played with passion but also impulsivity. This duality highlights an important reflection on the nature of talent. Even the most skilled individuals can struggle with emotional control and adherence to external rules and expectations. Carl Everett reminds us that an athlete's character is as visible as their statistics, and public perception can be shaped as much by behavior as by achievements. Another point to consider is the versatility Everett brought to the game. His ability to play all outfield positions, combined with his offensive power, demonstrates how adaptability is a valuable quality in any profession. He showed that excelling in just one aspect is not enough. Consistent contributions across multiple areas make an individual indispensable to the team. This versatility not only prolonged his career, but also increased his strategic value to managers and teammates, serving as an example of the importance of developing multiple skills and positioning oneself according to the team's needs. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell so that every time new content is uploaded you'll be notified, and don't forget to leave your comment and share it with friends. Everett's career also prompts reflections on legacy and memory in sports. Despite his controversies, he is remembered as an impactful player, capable of changing the outcome of games and leaving a lasting mark on several franchises. His story shows that an athlete's legacy is neither linear nor uniform. It is built through a combination of achievements, shining moments, personal challenges, and the way each player manages their own personality. Everett teaches us that sporting greatness can coexist with imperfections, and that authenticity, even when controversial, can inspire admiration and respect. Finally, reflecting on Carl Everett is reflecting on the essence of competitive sports. Talent, passion, pressure, and humanity coexisting intensely. He was more than a powerful hitter or a versatile defender. He was a competitor who challenged conventions, played by his own rules, and provided unforgettable moments for fans and teammates alike. His legacy is an invitation to appreciate athletes in their entirety, recognizing that every journey is composed of victories, challenges, and human complexities that make sports so fascinating and memorable. Until the next journey, dear friends and baseball lovers,